Hello everybody. So this is my excuse me. This is my Mill Hill bead swatch, and I have gotten all of the the back stitching done for all the numbers and everything. So I am working on putting all the beads down, and let me see if I can tilt this. There it goes. Give you guys a better shot here to see what the heck I'm doing. But yes, I am now placing all the beads down. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to try out a couple different types of beading thread. Maybe I should show you guys some. To see which ones I like better. Normally I would use the Nymo thread, which is a white thread. And then there is, I'm currently using it right now, this is a fishing line that I'm using, and it seems to be okay. And then this was just a random beading thread that originally came on this, but I didn't really particularly like it, so I unspooled it from this and put it on this spool. This spool has the Wonder Invisible thread on it, which is the YL, which comes on a... It comes on like a normal thread spool, and when I forget what thick I was using it with, but I liked it, but I was finding it difficult to find out where, let's see if we can get this to show up, the end is. And if I stick my finger back here and wiggle it just a little bit, you can see where the end is. So having a hard time constantly, and there was no way to really like attach it onto that spool. So I took it and wound it onto this spool, and then used, oh, I can't think of what this thing is called, but it works perfectly, because then you always can tell where your thread is, and then you don't have to adjust it or anything. You just grab and manipulate it, and you can see if we, like, there's the end of the thread. It makes it easier to pull the thread off, but you always know where it is. And if you need to tuck the thread back in, you just grab a hold of this end and pull it, and you can suck the thread back on where it needs to be without really having any issues, and you can still locate the end of your thread without any problem. And I just wound that up a little too tight. But it makes it easy to grab and pull. That is another one I'm trying out. And then another one I'm using is, this is called Dragon Thread. This one's a little thicker, and it's actually used for in jewelry making. This one here is a lot more expensive, but it's kind of a stiffer thread, and it's easier to see. But when you lay it down on here, it's invisible. You can't really see it at all. But that is another one that I'm using. Those are the different ones that I'm kind of trying out to see which one I prefer. My children start school tomorrow. When you guys actually see this, it'll be their first day of school. So I'm filming this on Tuesday. They start school on Wednesday. initially, whenever it was like, oh yay, like I'll finally have a day of peace, but I'll have Vincent instead. So there will still be people here at my, I'll still have a child that I will need to look after, even though all my kids are going off to school. And then I was like, oh well, I'll have Friday. And then I realized, no, I won't have Friday to have like sort of a day to myself, because my husband will be home from work. So that's not, still not going to be a day of peace for me. And we'll be busy at the other house. Currently, we have at my mother-in-law's new home, we're able to finish. What in the world is going on here? Must have nodded. There it goes. We were able to finish the roof, and we got that done. And we got the dumpster yesterday, and we have started getting all of the 4 layers of stinking shingles that were on that roof. It's currently on tarps right now, and we're shoveling up and using a wheelbarrow and stuff to haul the shingles from those tarps over to the dumpster. So getting that cleaned up so that way we can have, we're borrowing from a friend. It's a very strong and heavy magnet that's on wheels that you roll over the ground, so that way it picks up any nails or anything like that left over. So we're trying to get the shingles moved, so that way this weekend we can get that magnet out and clean up any nails or anything like that that may have fallen on the ground, so we can, I guess, park the cars back in the driveway at some point. What did I just do? Not sure. Oh, there. It's still not right. Pay attention to what I'm doing here. And get that done. And then, we can continue working on the inside. We found out that there's some, so where the bathtub sat, rotted out immensely, the floor there. And then once we got, that floor all ripped up and that floor replaced, we had brought the bathtub in to get the exact placement for where the drain and stuff is. Instead of doing a bunch of measurements, it was easier to just, carry the bathtub in, and then we could, just use a pencil, put the bathtub where it's going to go, use a pencil to trace out where the drain and water lines need to go, and then also the wall that needs to be built in there for the one side of the bathtub, and also to make, it'll be a wall that, it'll be a bathtub wall against the bathtub, but also a wall for the closet, so that way we can map that out and then get all the framing and everything done for that, instead of doing a bunch of measurements and stuff like that. And thankfully, I'm thankful that we did do that, because when we hauled that in, we noticed that this floor isn't level. And when we went and we measured, it was, I think, 2.25, it was like 2.5 inches off. Like, so when you put the bathtub in, you could clearly see it. But without it in, you didn't, I don't know, I didn't notice it until, like, it was brought to my attention that, like, whenever you walked into that bathroom, and it was only in that bathroom area that you noticed that you, it almost felt like you were walking downhill. But like I said, I didn't notice it until after we put that bathtub in. And like I said, we measured and everything to figure out like how far is this floor off, you know, and then we found that out, and then we went downstairs and we started going over the entire house to find out, okay, like where are we off? And in the one small bedroom next to that bathroom, it is off by I think it's 1/4 of an inch. Like, it's barely even off, but everywhere else upstairs, it's level. It's fine. And then my husband and I, you know, my dad's a contractor, so we called him down and we were like, you know, can you help us figure out where this large difference is and, you know, what we can do about it. And he came down and he noticed that 5 of the, they're not called, I don't think they're called rafters. I can't think of what they're called right now. But it's the main supporting beams that go across the house. And he's like, right here's your issue, because of that bathroom tub leaking where it was causing the floor to swell up, and then as it would dry out, it would come back down, and then it would swell up again every single time it was getting wet. It was constantly doing that. So he was like, literally, the reason why it's not affecting everywhere else is because, you know, it's only this small portion of these main beams that were affected. So because it wasn't the whole beams doing that, that's why you only get it, I guess, in that small area. And he gave us some options that we can do to fix that. And he, you know, he's like, you can leave it the way it is, but you cannot place the tub in that area because the weight of that and everything could cause it to sag even more. So we would have to redesign what we had done for the bathroom, and we would have to flip-flop where the closet was and where the bathtub would go. Or we could essentially order new beams there, which is not what that gets called, but I can't think of what that gets called off the top of my head right now. And we could order new ones, and you wouldn't take out the other ones and pull those out, but you would jack up those beams back or as close to where it was supposed to be, and then place in those new beams, and then screw them in, resupport those beams so that way they would be in the correct position, and then you would be doubling up those beams to make it so that way it would support everything again and it would hold. And my husband and I went back and forth on like what we were deciding and trying to decide, you know, both of us, you know, hashing out like I would bring up like, well, if we do this, then, you know, like it's going to be harder to have the access panel for the bathtub, and then we already have the bathtub here. We'd have to take this one back and have them give us, because at that point in time it was the drain and everything was on the right side of the tub, so we'd have to take back the tub and the surround and reset it up so that way it was left draining if we moved that, like just the amount of things we'd have to move around. And then like it was kind of I don't want to say monotonous, but just trying to go through the pros and cons that either one of us can think of about doing whatever. And eventually I don't remember if it was him that brought it up or I brought it up, that like my dad had said, like, it's going to continue to shift once you put the new tub and stuff in. So I mean, we had just brought it up, like, we are spending all the extra money of getting the new doors in and doing everything else, and I was just like, you know, does that mean we had to call my dad, and I had to pick my husband's brain too, like, Does that mean once we put in all these new doors and things, like eventually these things are not going to shut right if this continues to shift, right? And he was like, yeah. So I was like, well, I don't want to sit here and spend all this money on getting doors and everything else, because then eventually you'd have to cut the doors and everything else, so that way they they would close right. And I'm like, I'm not spending all this money to have it so that way, when eventually we do go to decide to have the house, that we've got to sit there and go through all these doors and stuff again and make it so that way they shut properly again. And I was like, that just sounds like a bunch of hullabaloo. And my husband was like, well, the only way to not have to do all that would be to spend the extra money and fix it properly, and, you know, not take a shortcut, which is going to add on a couple days of work that we hadn't planned for. And I was just like, you know what, just take care of the problem now, and then, you know, when we do eventually go to sell this home, all we have to do is, you know, do normal cleanup, painting, and, you know, normal things that you would fix for the house. We don't have to do any of this major crap. And so between doing that roof, we've been placing those boards in, and we were able to get it up to, I think there's only a 1/2 inch difference now. And I'm trying to remember, I know it was over 2 inches. I know it was over 2.5 inches of a difference. So the fact that we were able to take it from, you know, get it within a 1/2 inch of being where it needs to be, like, is perfect. And plus, that 1/2 inch, you don't notice it whatsoever, which means we'll only have to shim that tub just a little bit so it sits properly as well. And, like, I was surprised we were able to get, you know, over 2 inches of movement from it. So it's gonna work out in the end, I guess. And that's what I'm excited for. I'm ready to... I'm getting exhausted from that house, and I am so ready for it to just start putting in the cabinets and everything else. But we still have to do all the water lines yet and all the drain lines before we can even get to drywall and hanging cabinets or anything like that. But I think it's just, you know, we've ran into different little problems here and there, and we've had to take out certain things. You can walk through, honey, that we had planned on doing, and I've just had to say, you know, that's just gonna have to wait. It's not gonna happen right now. And just make it so that way it's not gonna be perfect when we're finished with it, but it's perfect enough that she can move in and we can finish as we save up the money and get the money, we can go and, you know, finish up these last few things that we wanted to do to the house. And that's that. What else have we been up to? Not really a whole lot. It's pretty much just go, go, go on that house. My husband did get a promotion at work. He is now running his own truck, and that's what he needs to do. So those couple months of schooling and everything else have paid off. He's now got that promotion. I think what annoys him the most is that he's got to be in that position. I think it's for 90 days, he said, before he'll receive the raise for it. And he's like, so for 90 days, as they get me performing the work at my old rate. Which I don't think that should be allowed. I mean, if you're doing the promoted, if you get promoted and you're doing the work, I think it should be immediate that you receive the pay for what you're doing. I'm not sure I'm in love with this thread because it feels like it's constantly unthreading itself, and that's kind of annoying me. But it just feels like, you know, not fair. But it's the way the rules are written at his company, and that's that. I've been suffering with a migraine for a little over a week now, and I've been able to tamp it down to the point where I'm not in excruciating pain, but I still can't think clearly through it all, so that's kind of a pain in the butt. And I'm trying. But I just feel like it's not going to get any better. And then it doesn't help that like, I'm already tired, and then add that on top of it, and it's just like exhaustion through the roof because my migraines make me tired. Because it's not only the pain that I have to deal with, it's like complete and utter brain fog. I can't think. I have a hard time thinking. And that in itself is frustrating. Let me see. Let's finish this out first. Grandma Joanna's doing good. Well, she's not doing good, but she's not bad either. That helped none. Me and this camera are gonna fight today. Well, we'll just leave it there, because if I mess with it much more, it's just not going to be right. She's still kind of down and stuff, so I went over there extra to see her. And that helps some, but she's just struggling a bit this week. The past couple weeks, actually. Tie this in a knot here. So quit slipping off my needle is bad. Here we go. That was an elbow, and then I jerk you guys around. That's part of the process with these, all this filming stuff and everything being around you is kind of, you smack into her. After I'm done filming this, I'm making potato salad and pasta salad because we're having hamburgers and potato salad and pasta salad tonight for dinner. So I gotta finish making that, and then once I'm done with that, then it's time to walk down to the other house, my mother-in-law's house. Oh, something doesn't want to sit right. There it goes. And continue cleaning up shingles there. And if you're wondering how I know which ones are which, I just sat them up so that way they go one right after the other. Very carefully paying attention to the colors, and some of the colors are pretty similar, like this color and this color are very similar. The only difference is this one is slightly darker. Well, you can see here, this one's slightly darker than this one, so I'm just paying attention to what colors they are. I'm still working on the framing video. It doesn't usually take me that long to frame something, but I need to be in the mood to do it because the pinning part of it is what takes the most amount of time. Well, I do the pinning part and then I lace the backs, the extra fabric. I lace that. I don't ever cut it off. I lace it. So those two things take the longest whenever it comes to framing, but it's the pinning process is, for me, I just lost a bead. The pinning process is what takes the longest because that needs to be done correctly, and then once that's done correctly, the lacing process isn't holding any tension or anything on the front of the project. It's literally just to clean up the extra fabric that's on the back, so that way it helps to control the bulk on the back of that. So where am I? Up here. So once I get all that done, I mean, I've almost got it completely pinned, and then for me it's unpinning and releasing the fabric in some places, and some places is pulling the fabric even tighter, so that way it's lined up in a straight line on the foam core, so that way whenever it goes and it's done, then it's finished and it's straight and it looks nice. So we'll see how that goes. With the filming process. And a lot of times while I'm filming it, like, everybody is home, so I've been just recording it right now without talking, and then I'll do a voiceover for it. There's a bit of a knot here. One of these sticking earlier too. Screw it. But again, I'm trying out different threads here to use for beading to see which do I prefer. You don't know until you try them all. And I have not tried them all. So, seeing what I prefer, really. What do I prefer? What don't I prefer? I don't know until I try them. I haven't ate anything yet today, too. And it's a little afternoon, and my belly is screaming at me to go get something to eat. So I'm going to be doing that too before I leave to go down that house because I am hungry. I don't know what to have. I'm not sure what I want to eat. I just know I'm hungry. And this is probably going to be a little bit of a shorter video today because I have so much stuff going on. But I want to make sure that I still get a video out for you guys because I feel like I don't know, I'm a weirdo. Like, I make a commitment and I'm very hard on myself whenever I make a commitment. And I made it a commitment to myself whenever I started this that I wanted to, for at least the first year, put out one video every single week. And that's just what I wanted to do. So that's what I'm doing. And when I make a commitment, like I am, like something serious has to happen for me to back out of it. So I'm stubborn. There's no other way to put it. I'm stubborn. And I've run out of this color, so I have to go over here to the stash. And what is it? 42043. 42043. Right there you are. What do I need? 3 of them. There we go. Hey, Lydia, can you go upstairs and tell Abby to shut her music off because I'm recording a video?
Turn the music down?
Yes.
Yep.
Turn it off. I need it off. Let her know that I will let her know when I'm done recording. And she can turn it back on then. This is another problem with me recording later in the day. Is everybody's awake and they're doing things, and then I feel bad because I need them to shut certain things off so I can do things. Lydia's sitting down here with her headphones on, playing her game. Playing a game. And it's not that she's not a big fan of the headphones, but she prefers not to wear them, and I just dropped that one. See if I can find it here. Nope. Last one, and then I dropped her again. Of course I did. Here we go. Tie this off. First I have to cut off this little knot. It's like trying to end off on stuff you can't see. Going under threads you can't see. It's not exactly easy. But I can feel with the needle whenever I catch it. Go. I think it's auto focusing again, and I was pretty sure I shut all that off. Now it's doing it again. I will have to show you guys how I get this tied on. So I do it differently than with my Nymo thread. But I will place the bead on, pull this through so far, make a knot. Start to make a knot, I should say. This is the part that's annoying. Make the knot. Grab a hold of it with this hand, and then you can't see it, but there's a little loop there. You can somewhat see it there. See the little loop? I'll take my needle and go up through that loop, and I'm holding on to this one end, and I'm grabbing and I'm pulling, and then I create the knot with, so that way it's a really insignificant little knot. It's not going to interfere with anything. Then I have over here the little extra tail. I'll cut that off, being very careful not to clip my thread. I just knotted on there. And then she is secured on again. Man, you can barely see this little bead. But I almost have all the petite beads. Stuck on here. I have 4 more in this row to do, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more to do on the second row. And then I can move on to the glass beads, and the antique, and then all the other ones. Alright, needle monitor, you're gonna have to move down because my needle just got caught on you. But I think this is where I'm going to end it, because I am absolutely starving and I would like to get down to this house before 1 o'clock. Although my nephew and my son are down, one of my sons are down there right now. So I would like to get down there and help. I don't know how like my husband does it, because I mean I know he's going to regular work. I guess if I was doing regular work I wouldn't feel so bad, but I feel like YouTube doesn't pay me, so I get no money at all for doing YouTube. I feel like that's part of the problem right here. This is leaning forward. Yep. So you guys had a crap shot for a bunch of this. That's fantastic. I believe this is auto zooming too, and that is like, I noticed it like popping in and out. Ugh. I'm gonna have to go through and do a bunch of stinking settings again. That is obnoxious. Really, really going to irritate me. But what can you do? There's nothing I can really do about it. So, not for this video anyways. But I'm going to quit blabber, God. I am going to say goodbye to you guys. I'm going to go get something to eat. I'm going to peel the potatoes for the potato salad, make the potato salad sauce, get that all finished, and then actually I'm still in my PJs. I'm going to get dressed and then walk my happy little butt down to that house and get all these shingles and stuff. I'm hoping. Yesterday we were only there for like an hour and a half because the dumpster didn't come until then, and then it was 4 o'clock. We left there and we walked back home here, so that way I could cook dinner and get that done, because Lydia had to meet her teacher night last night, and that was at 6 o'clock, so I needed to go and do that. But we usually have dinner around 5 o'clock and stuff, so we were only there for an hour and a half because the dumpster didn't get delivered till then. It was supposed to be delivered in the morning, but they didn't get a chance to do that. So I'm hoping to but we got a very small amount, over half of the shingles from one side of the house picked up and done. So I'm hoping to at least get the one side completely cleared, and then start over on the other side and make some sort of a dent in the other side, because tomorrow I will have Vincent and only my nephew Cyrus can go down, and I'm just going to tell him, like, you know, go down, work for an hour. If you come back and chill out, go down and work for an hour, because I don't want him, I mean, I guess I should leave it up to him, but I really don't want him down there all by himself. Because it's not his project, it's our project, and I know we're paying him to do the work and blah, 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 but I don't know, I just feel like, I don't know, I don't know how to describe it, besides it just makes me feel like, not that I'm not comfortable for him doing it by himself, but it's just kind of like, I feel like it's our responsibility, we need to take care of it, and I don't want it to seem like we're shoving it off to somebody else. But I am starving. I'm going to go get something to eat. Thank you guys for watching this week. I always appreciate it. Please like and subscribe if you stayed to the end and you enjoy this kind of content. And I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.